That is also motor dependent, so that also gets affected. Even the feeding problems also, they'll have feeding problems. They'll have respiratory problems because of the irregular breathing and stuff like that.
Right.
So if with proper care, they can achieve a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, but a lot of people say that the brain is the one part of, I've heard that the brain is one part that doesn't regenerate. Is that true?
Yeah, but the thing is, it depends. Like definitely, there is a way of regenerating the brain tissues as well. Now with a lot of stem cell therapy and other treatments coming up, there's a lot of way of regenerating. But the problem is some condition which affects, and then the motor controls and stuff, like say in motor neuron disease, is a non-progressive disorder. But in cerebral palsy, it's a non-progressive. But the damage is done. So the developing brain is not getting those developments which has to be achieved before the 2 years of age.
And so it doesn't reach certain milestones.
Exactly.
But so if you look at people like, say, Stephen Hawking, he doesn't have cerebral palsy, but
he has motor neuron disease.
But he's, someone who's physically almost unable to move, and yet he's one of the most brilliant people.
Because
on the
again,
earth.
it is the same, the motor control areas of the brain which is affected in motor neuron disease, but it's a progressive disease. The damage is going to get like every day it's going to increase.
But someone with cerebral palsy can be a fully functional,
like
worker.
I'm not sure whether you know Lewis Hamilton. His brother is also a cerebral palsy. Nicholas Hamilton is a cerebral palsy person, but he has spastic diplegia, which affects the lower part of the body. So he's actually doing Formula 1 racing.
Really?
Yes.
The brother of Lewis Hamilton, who has cerebral palsy, is a Formula 1 racer. Okay.
And my son is also a fan of, because he follows Formula 1 racing, he is a fan of Lewis Hamilton as well as Nicholas. So we have a poster in the foundation.
That's a great example.
It's a very good example.
Because there's a lot of celebrities with cerebral palsy have achieved a lot of milestones, but with those extra care and the support.
Yes. Now in Sri Lanka, what care and support can they get other than the stuff that's provided by the home people who take care of them?
This foundation, the main focus of the foundation is to give therapeutic as well as educational services to the children with cerebral palsy. We know that there is an estimated number of 40,000 children in Sri Lanka, but we actually wanted to give them, we have to identify exact number of cases so that we can reach them and we can help them. That's why we are focusing on this National Cerebral Palsy Week, which is going to happen in next week from 28th of May to the 3rd of June. So during that week, the main focus is to create the database. Why we insist on the database is we can identify the most prevalent area, we can identify the exact number of cases, we can identify the most common type of cerebral palsy in Sri Lanka, and then we can take it further. Like we can work together, like to help them, how to sort of, sometimes we can prevent the causes also happening in Sri Lanka. Like, because there is a, compared to the many countries in the world, there's a higher ratio of cerebral palsy in Sri Lanka.
I think this must be hard to deal with alone also. But if you have some support as a parent or as a child, it must be a lot easier.
So that's why we started this, because they are physically dependent and they are not included in the normal stream schools. So I can understand it's a difficult thing for them to take, because you need special training for the teachers to look after them. You need enough resource people to look after them, and more attention also needed definitely for these children. So, but these children, most of the children have very good IQ and they are capable of doing a lot of things with some support. Definitely they need some support. That's why we started this, the Dream Center, which is actually the part of the foundation, which is a resource center where they get the therapeutic as well as the educational service. The Dream Center, why we call it as a dream, is a dream for all the parents with children with cerebral palsy. And the main objective of the foundation is to have at least one center in all districts of Sri Lanka to cater the people in that area, because they have a difficulty in the transport, finding transport, because the public transports available in Sri Lanka is not wheelchair accessible, most of the public transports. So now it's improving. There are some, I have seen some buses with wheelchair accessibility, but still most of the buses are full. and the wheelchair is not able, like we can't move the wheelchair into the buses.
I haven't seen any buses with
That's
wheelchair
true.
Yes,
accessibility.
that's true.
And like
Now,
most of the children coming to the center, we are trying to finding it difficult to provide them transport, because it's very difficult for them to get into a normal public transport, so we have to provide them special transport and stuff like that.
yes. Just before we go, Doctor, could you tell us a little bit about, for those who would like to know more about cerebral palsy, as well as get some help for when they're treating
Yeah,
their family members?
as we were talking about the Facebook, we have a Facebook page as well, CP Lanka, CP Sri Lanka in the Facebook, and we have a website, cerebral palsy, cplanka.org, and our cerebral palsy helpline is 071 7777 355. So they can call us, they can register with us, so that we can help them to create. We will create the database, as well as we will be focusing on helping them, reaching out, and we will be conducting various awareness and assessment camps during the awareness week.
I see. Now the number just flashed on. So could you just say it one more time? The
It's the
helpline number?
071 7777 355. It's a cerebral palsy helpline. Why we say helpline is actually a helpline. They can, any parents with or families with cerebral palsy children, they can call us. They can get enough information about what's happening and whatever the programs we are doing.
Whatever information they require. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. That was
Thank you.
definitely a very valuable discussion. Unfortunately, we're at the end of our interview. Thank you for joining us. Right now, we're going to take a very short commercial break. We'll see you guys on the other side. Hello everyone, welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. We're heading towards the final stretch, the very last stretch of Good Morning Sri Lanka. But before we do, a quick reminder of the question of the week. Now the week has just started and there's a whole new question out there. The question is, why do you think is the reason very few Sri Lankans have qualified for the Olympics in spite of their talent for all sports? So,
So you can send that to, you type GMSL and you send it to 7788. You can also send us your comments at that number, 7788.
Yes, and of course you can also find us on Facebook, which has also been in the headlines quite a bit. But we are also on Facebook, so you can go search for us on Good Morning Sri Lanka on Facebook and like.
And don't forget to, today we talked about the Olympics, we talked about the Facebook IPO, and we talked about cerebral palsy. And don't forget that NBC is the champion network, so you can also catch the Olympics here live as it's happening.
As well as, I believe, we're having on screen right now on how to get in touch with us in relation to the question of the week. The question of the week, for those of you who just missed it, is what is the reason why very few Sri Lankans have qualified for the Olympics in spite of our talent for all sports? And of course, to get in touch with us with the answer for that, you have to SMS GMSL space your comments to 7788 and send it in, and you stand to win a very amazing prize. We're not going to give away what the prize is.
And you can keep in touch with us, which is fun as well. But also check in tomorrow. We have Professor J.B. Dissanayake and Dr. Pakisoti Savarnamuthu. They're talking about the 10-year national plan for trilingual Sri Lanka, which should be very interesting.
Yes. So that's all coming up on Good Morning Sri Lanka tomorrow. For now, it's time for us to say bye, but thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.